the Federal Emergency Management Agency. That's what FEMA stands for, so the public knows.
Right.
Okay.
All right. If you have floods and etc. You know, when I was a public official, and they had floods several years back in Chicago, I took about 3 or 4 busloads of people to City Hall and wanted to know why FEMA wasn't here to help these folks to recover their damages from what I know now they probably created in the first place. All right, because they had documents down in the basement, you know, at the Board of Trade and all of that that had to do with Iran-Contra, right?
Yeah, right.
So what better thing than to create a flood so that you could eliminate those documents?
There are 2 documentaries I recommend that everybody see. One is called The Panama Deception.
Yes, sir.
In fact, it's starring, it's narrated by Elizabeth Montgomery, the former actress who used to play in the role of Bewitched. A lot of people don't know that she became a political activist, you know, after her movie career was over.
Yes.
And she helped put together a documentary which exposed the FEMA organization as a shadow government, its connection with the CIA conspiracies and cover-ups, and how they were involved in Iran-Contra, and how they had actually come up with a plan to suspend martial law in America. The second documentary is a documentary entitled Concentration Camps in America by Tex Mars. I had a chance to view this documentary, and it actually shows that in Indiana, they have death camps with high temperature incinerators.
Wow.
That's designed to incinerate bodies in the same way the gas chambers and the incinerators in Nazi Germany did away with 6 million Jews.
Greater than that. It's greater than that. This will pulverize even the bones.
Yes.
You will have nothing left but dust.
Yes.
You won't even have no bones.
Yes. And
you won't even know a body was in there.
That's right.
You just take the dust out and sprinkle it wherever you want.
And in this documentary, it also showed trains with shackles on the inside of the trains that anybody that was put on the train, they would automatically be locked in shackles as if they were slaves, and the trains would take you into the death camps. I believe some of the space was underground, and these death camps were designed to eliminate, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people.
So so the people that are watching, the people that are in the New World Order, they want to destroy the very people that are watching this television and other people around the world to decrease the surplus of the population, like Scrooge said.
This is a very serious time that we're living in, and we better wake up and stop popping our fingers, getting a six-pack of alcohol on the weekend to watch that Bulls game, and realize how serious we're living in the last days and times. And a lot of what we find mentioned in the biblical and Quranic scripture about what would happen in the last days and time is going on right this very minute.
I see so many people, you know, with that. I look at the ratings of television shows. People, you know, it seems like basketball games and football games far exceed they top in the rating opposed to educational shows.
Well, brother,
why?
Rome was burning and they was partying.
That's what he said.
Okay. They was partying. They was having a good time. And eventually it was no more, all right?
Yes.
To tell lies to your vision is designed to rock us to sleep. I read went through a book on the history of Nazi Germany, and they said, well, one of the things that they did before they moved on the Jews in the Holocaust genocide is that they put the Jewish people in an entertainment mode with a lot of music and sport and play.
Yeah.
And when I read that book, I was seeing the parallels between what happened in Nazi Germany and what's going on in Black America today. Our people are again being rocked to sleep with basketball players, football games, the wine and booze and liquor, you know, and video games and things of that nature. And not realizing, again, as I said, this is a very serious time that we're living in.
What effect does high definition, what capability do you think that high definition television may have that we don't know about? Will the television be on looking at us while we looking at it?
Well, you know, there was a book written years ago called 1984.
Right.
And you know, they called it a view picture tube, all right? Because they didn't know about TV sets back then when that book was written.
Right.
And the philosophy was right. If something can receive, it can transmit.
Wow.
The technology to peer inside your home, I read a book called The Great White Lie. This is written by an ex-DEA agent that was working to infiltrate drug gangs and conspiracies. And he specifically, I remember a section in the book where he specifically pointed out that in some cases they used television that had the ability to look inside your home to find out what was going on. Now, I listened to Coast to Coast radio some months ago, and they had this white scientist on that was discussing this very topic, and he said that the boxes that they're encouraging us to get so that we can, you know, receive the digital TV transmission, he said that he admitted that it had the ability to act as spy device.
Listen to what you're talking about and everything else.
That's right.
That's heavy.
The only individuals that will probably be halfway saved from that are those who have cable TV, because they don't have the box.
Even then, that might...
I said halfway. I didn't say all the way. Don't misunderstand what I said.
You know, we as a people, how do we do battle against the New World Order, the built-in birds, the skull and bones, if they have the power to send out one message to everybody over the internet and the television by the press of the button?
And you have the power to do something too. If everybody tells everybody.
You know, one of the first things that we have to do is recognize that we have a major enemy. When I was in the U.S. military, one of the things that they taught us is to recognize your enemy, to know your enemy. And the problem with our race of people is that we don't understand that we're confronted with an enemy. There's a book that I read some years ago called Racial Matters by Kenneth O'Reilly, and one of the things they pointed out in there that the United States government and the CIA considers black people one of the major threats to the national security of this nation. And so in understanding that helps me to be cognizant of the position that I'm in this country as a so-called black man.
But but the thing is, as I stated, you know, earlier, there are people that are looking at television, you know, a lot of people not going to the library. It's like what Minister Farrakhan said, it's like a pig eating in a slop trough. And they're not trying to, what I'm trying to say is, the majority of people seem dumb down. And they're concerned with partying, as you said, watching the Bulls. And what do you do if the majority are not responding appropriately to what's going on? How do you fight?
When you said that, you know, if that day and time should come, I remember in Kenya, matter of fact, from whence Obama's father came from, Jomo Kenyatta and them went to every village. And the symbol for the Mau Mau in Kenya was a spear with a flame coming out. And they cut the flaming spear in everybody's arm in Kenya. Mm-hmm. When the British came to a village, they said, I'm not with them, I'm not with them. No.